Hi my loves, how's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome or welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I sat down and actually recorded a video. You can probably hear it, I'm sick again, which doesn't really help. And then over the next sort of couple of weeks, I'm a little bit busy. I've got another 2 weddings, literally back to back in August, but luckily there's not that many events for these weddings, so it will be a lot more calmer compared to the ones that I had at the start of the year. But I am still looking forward to said weddings, but I really wanted to sit down and get some videos done. So today's video will be the Beauty A to Z video. I don't think I did an update for that last month because there generally just wasn't a good enough update. I think I used maybe like 1 or 2 products, and I just felt really silly having to come here and be like, yeah guys, I've used like 2 products and that's about it. So I decided to just skip the update last month and do it this month instead. So if you guys enjoy like panning content, please make sure you like this video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And let's just dive right into the update. I don't really know what update this is at this point. I just know that being the fact that we've got 4 months left, or maybe 5 months, because this is literally the start of August when I'm sitting down to record these. I haven't really made that much progress if I really think about it, and I don't really know if I am going to end up making much progress, if I'm going to use any of these, or what's going to happen by the end of the year. It's definitely one of those situations where like I can say that I've pretty much failed the project, but it's fine. You never know how the next couple of months go. Again, being ill doesn't help, the heat wave doesn't help. There's just been so many things that have been happening. My work hours were different, changing my contract and all sorts of stuff has been happening, and I've just had 0 energy. So I've not really had much chance to just sit down and play with makeup. That's probably why this project is also so neglected compared to my other project plans, but it's fine. I am still going to try. For letter A, I've got About Face, Not Your Baby liquid lipstick. I actually really love this shade. It's one of my go-tos. It's like the perfect sort of grungy kind of tone that you'd want. It's a really nice cool tone colour, and I actually really enjoy this product. I think last time when I was using this, I sort of realised it's probably getting to that point where it's expiring soon, and I'm not really surprised because I've had it for some time, and also when I got it, it wasn't so, and the site has actually discontinued all of the About Face products. So I'm assuming they'd probably had it for some time before they decided to discontinue it. By the time I got it, it must have been pretty old in their stock, so I'm not really surprised. But that being said, if I can get my hands on these again, I would absolutely love to, because this is such a good shade. I think since the last update, I've got 3 new uses, which takes this to 11 in total, and that is 11 out of 50, so it's not really the best, but I'm trying to use this up whenever I do remember to use it up. But it is one of those shades that do clash with certain eyeshadows, so I kind of have to like balance using the different eyeshadow palettes that I have along with the lip products that are in my project pans, and unfortunately it just is one of those that sort of clashes with some types of shades, especially anything that's on the warmer tone side of things. But I absolutely love this, and even if I don't use it up or hit my usage goals, like, it's fine. I'm pretty sure there'll be space for this product again in one of the projects next year. But I really do love this. I used to see a lot of About Face products on Beauty, and I'm not really seeing it there anymore. I don't know what's going on with the brand. I do really hope they bring these back because it is a really good formula, and the shades that they had were really lovely, so I would love to see that. Also, you don't really see that many cool tone lip products or just cool tone products in general that often, so it would be very nice if brands could kindly bring cool tone things back into their arsenal, because there are a lot of people who generally enjoy cool tone stuff like myself, and that would be great. That's just my one wish. For the letter B, I've got this Beauty Bay liquid eyeshadow in the shade Carnelian. I've had it for some time. It's one of those where the formula is a little bit funny. It's more on the runny side, but normally I feel like these products, they tend to start to dry up, and this is a good couple years old. I think I got it in 2022, so it's kind of old. It's the time when they had that they had the first sort of pinky sort of romance palette come out, and I didn't buy the palette at the time because I was waiting for it to go on sale. Stupid me, and then the palette sold out. that's what I get. But yeah, I bought these, and honestly speaking, I'm not really the biggest fan of liquid eyeshadows. I feel like a lot of them don't work for me because I have like obviously the fold in my eye, but also my eyeshadow, like, they don't really last that long anyway, and this being a cream, sorry, liquid, it's not the most like drying product, so no matter what I do, even if I use like an eye base underneath it, it will still crease up in this sort of section here. So for that reason, I've not really gravitated it towards much, though I should, and I probably could still use it up in other ways if I put my mind to it. but I have used this up once since the last update, whenever that was. So that takes me to 7 out of 15 uses. I think that leaves me with, I'm really bad at maths, I think it's like 8 left. But even then, I think even if I was to use this like 2 times a month, I could still pretty much hit the goal of having used it to 15 uses, which is something I need to kind of like force myself to do. Also, this is one of those products I don't necessarily enjoy, and because of that I find it really hard to like just grab it and use it, which is something I do need to get slightly better at. But maybe next update I can try to use this a few more times. I say that every update and then I never do. The next product is for the letter C, and this is another one of those like sort of creamy pots, or like the creamer eyeshadow pots, and it's the same issue that I have with this that I have with the other one. This one definitely creases, which is really sad because I feel like for a one and done product this would have been perfect. And I know this is like the go-to for a lot of people. It's just I have oily eyelids, which doesn't really help, and that means that things like these don't necessarily work unless they completely dry down. Since the last time, I don't know when I even used this, I've hit 1 use, which takes me to a 4 out of 15 in total, which isn't that great. I think it's 15 or 30, it was 30. So like for the fact that it's literally like 4 out of 30 is quite crazy if you think about it. But it is one of those products I really wish I could use, and if I could I would probably use it all the time and every single day. But it's just that because I have that issue with how it lasts on my eyelids, I tend to not gravitate towards it, and it's one of those products that I tend to like just skip past whenever I do my makeup, because I'll either not do any eyeshadow like today, or I'll be testing out a palette that I want to kind of use, or see if I want to keep it or not. So I don't really tend to then have time or space in between all of that to sort of be like, okay, let me try and use a product that I don't necessarily like, even though I'm not going to be going anywhere. So what I might do is literally, by the time I'm done filming all these videos, I might actually sit down and try this product again and see how I feel. Because if at this point it's not working, and if I'm forgetting to use it and just not wanting to use it, I might as well just get rid of it, because there's no point in me keeping a hold of a product that doesn't really work or I don't enjoy using it. It doesn't really make sense, but here we are. The next product is for E, and this is a product I'm unfortunately going to have to declutter. This is the e.l.f. Sheer Slick Wild Peach Lipstick, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a nice sort of shade if you like the pinky sort of tones like this. I'm not the biggest fan of pink on myself, especially like a pink lip product, unless I really have to do it. And I feel like this has gotten a bit too old, because the last 2 or 3 times I've used this, whenever I used it, it kind of like the product sort of hits the back of my throat, and I literally have a coughing fit as a result of it. So for that reason, I'm going to call it done. I do not have a problem when it comes to decluttering products, especially if they're expired. Obviously, if they're not expired, I'll definitely have a more difficult time with letting go of stuff. But as soon as I've realised something is expired, I'm more likely to get rid of it, and this is one of those products. But I have made some good usage on this since the last time I used it. Now, I don't actually remember when I last used this product, but whenever I did, I have actually had some decent progress, as you can see sort of here, or at least I hope you can see sort of there. That's enough for me to know that I've at least tried to use the product up. Obviously, it's expired and I'm not gonna... Oh, that was so loud. Obviously that's enough usage for me to see that I've used a product up enough times. Obviously it's not worked for me because now it's expired and I'm going to let go of it. But literally the reason I was even able to use it so much is I put this on my work desk, and I would use this as a substitute for like lip balm, and honestly it did the job until I could no longer use a product. And I'm really happy with that, and I'm happy with the amount of progress I've made since the last update, because I was really worried about not being able to use it at all. But the fact that I still at least used up over half the product, I'm good with that. But yeah, I am gonna unfortunately be letting go of that product. Moving on, we go down to Iron. This is Iconic London Velvet Smooth Pore Refining Primer. I feel like this is one of those products that's a bit of a waste of money, because I feel like, okay, it does fill your pores, but then I feel like I can get a similar sort of working product for a much cheaper price and it will do the same thing. I don't really feel like this helps in terms of longevity of my makeup, but it will to some degree fill in some of my pores. For that reason, I know that I'm not going to be repurchasing this product again, but I have made like somewhat steady progress. I've not like made a line on this at all, but I do know that by the end of this project, I would love to have this used up. I'm at the moment using 2 different primers. One is this one and one is the Lacura primer from Aldi, and it's like the dupe of the Bobbi Brown one. So I'm trying to use both of those, but every now and again I want to use this one, especially when it's hot. I tend to gravitate towards this one because then I don't really need a moisturizing primer, and I have made use. There's definitely like less product in here. It's only about what, this much here, And I feel like if I really put my mind to it, I could probably get this used up by the end of the year. But it's one of those situations where like I need to be bothered to use it or willing to use it, because otherwise it feels like a chore and then I don't use it. But we'll see how long it lasts and how it goes. But this is definitely something that I know I can quite easily use up. It's just something that I'm not really gravitating towards, which is like the story of my life, if I'm being very honest. Moving down to letter N, I've got the NYX eye pencil in the shade Orange Zest, and I decided to try and use this up this year, but I don't think I will be able to do that because I've not really made that large progress with this product. Again, I've not had that many makeup days for various reasons, but I have had some form of steady usage with this product as well. So here is like the tracker that I've been using. So as you can see, that's where the product was at the start, and slowly it's just been moving down and down. But the good thing is, at least I have used some of it up. The bad news is it's one of those products that I think will expire before I get to use it up. But I think that's a lesson that I needed to really learn throughout sort of parts of 2024, especially 2025, because I've let go of so many products as they've expired. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is just be more mindful of how much I'm bringing in. So what I've been doing is 2024, I tracked every sort of makeup purchase that I had. When I say track, I mean I tracked it very loosely, in the sense of I just, in my inventorying app that I use, I just added all the products that I've bought in 2024, so I can see exactly when I've sort of like bought something. And I've been doing the same thing for 2025, and you'll be very pleased to know I have bought a lot less makeup this year than I have done in the past several years, which is really big improvement compared to where I was. That being said, I still have bought a lot of makeup that I did not need. I mean, to be fair, I don't think there was a single item apart from maybe like a setting spray that I bought that I needed. Everything else I truly did not need. And yeah, I'm just trying to like slowly use up what I have and then only sort of bring in what I truly want. And because I also have very sensitive eyes, I cannot, if something like an eye pencil is expired, I don't even have a way to use it up in my waterline again. It's not gonna work. It is not gonna work. The second I put this on, my eyes are gonna be like a waterfall, and it's just not worth the hassle. So yeah, I do think it's gonna be one of those products that have to be tossed before I can use it up. But that being said, I have still really enjoyed using this while I have been using it. So moving on to the letter O, I've got the Odensai Alva Eyeshadow Palette. I know this is now a discontinued product, which is really sad because it was actually a really good product. But I do understand that if nobody's really buying it, there's no point in them keeping this. And I know that they've since changed the formula and the types of pans that they have. So this is the palette. I really enjoy using this. I think it's a really good sort of like cool toned palette that there is. I know they've got like these shades in here. I mean, I don't really understand why they added that in. But in some ways, I guess it kind of does make sense. I've used this palette once since the last update, and that takes me to 3 uses since then. And that's really good because at least it's 3 out of 20 now, and I'm getting some kind of use out of this palette. I don't know if I will be able to hit the 20 use goal for these, but I do have a harder time using palettes, and I don't know why I put 3 into this project pan, knowing full well that the last year, actually since like 2023, 2024, I've been trying to go through all my eyeshadow palettes, or at least whenever I remember to, and like trying to figure out what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep. And in order for me to do that, I kind of need to use the palette up so that I can figure out what I'm doing with my palettes. And since I've been doing that and trying to balance that with actually doing regular eyeshadow with palettes like these, it's been very difficult. But I've still had 3 uses. I really love this palette and the formula in here. Also, it helps the fact that this is one of my go-to sort of color stories. I usually like pair this with this, and I love the way that it looks. Honestly, it's like my favorite go-to, and the shimmers work really well as well. They're not like too in your face if you don't want, but if you want to make them like that, you can just add a bit of like setting spray onto your brush before you put like the product on your eyes, and it works the same thing, works the same way, sorry. And I really like this. I'm tempted to buy 1 or 2 other palettes from Odensai because it's been a long time since I bought anything from them. But then if I really think about it, do I need anything new? No. So we'll see. But I have been enjoying this palette and I do like this. I couldn't sit here and say I recommend their makeup because I haven't tried the new formula. So I don't know what the new formula looks like or works like. But at least with the old formula, the palettes were really, really good and I really enjoyed them. Next up is for the letter P, and we've got the Patrick Tar She's Adorable blush. This is the one and only single powder blush that I have. And to be fair, this was like my more favorite one because I'm more of a powder person, so this would have been perfect for me. It would be very nice if you could release these again, and I don't know why he'd stopped them in the first place, because these are very, very popular. This is such a nice sort of like sunburnt-ish kind of shade for me. I like suntan sort of shade, and I really like this. And not tan, actually sunburnt shade. This is nice, but since I've had this, it's been a while, and the pigmentation is slowly like being lost in the product, which is the only downside of this. But that being said, I do have to use more of this product to sort of get a similar shade to the pan, which is not the most ideal thing, but it does mean that I can probably get through this a little bit faster than what I would have done if I had the product when it was originally in my collection. But since the last update, I've used this 3 more times. That takes me to 12 out of 50 in total. Again, I don't think I'll be able to hit the 50 use goal, but it's either 50 uses or hit pan, and whatever comes first, I'm absolutely fine with that. This is a really, really nice blush, and if I used it more of the summer, I think it would have been absolutely perfect. But again, because the way I'm trying to like go from my eyeshadow palette to figure out what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep, it does give it that extra like issue of this will not go with all the sort of eyeshadows that I want, that I use. So that's the only downside of this. So I guess it is what it is, but hopefully I can get some more usage out of this product, because it generally is so nice. And a lot of the times I tend to pair this with this, and I really like that combination. But I just need to sit down and do that more often. Moving on to letter Q, we've got the Becca Rose Quartz highlighter. I have used this once since the last update. That's not looking good, and that's 1 out of 9, like 1 use, which takes me to 9 in total out of 50, which really isn't that good for this product. I feel like of all the Becca highlighters I have, this is probably the one of the most driest formula that I own, which is not the funnest, if you know what I mean. But I do feel like if I just try to gravitate towards a little bit more, I can probably get this used up. Since I finished up the other Pan That Face palette project that I was doing alongside this, I feel like I have a little bit more freedom to use a few more of these things, but I haven't really sat down to do my makeup that often. And I do feel like if I remember to use it, I probably will use it a little bit more now, because I've actually used up the other palette, and the new one that's in the project, I'm not that fussed about that just yet, because it's literally just 2 shades. And it's only been in the project since June, so it doesn't really bother me that much. But the other one I literally had for 1.5 years, and it took me that long to use it, and at the end I was just literally like losing my mind over it. So because the newest palette I've rolled in isn't that, that's only been here for like a little while, and I've already had some use on it, I'm not that fast. But it would be very nice to kind of use this highlighter again, because it is a nice highlighter. And to be fair, technically I could have actually used it for today's look, but I didn't. And you know what, that's my bad. Moving on to the sort of like last couple of products of this project pan, I've got for the letter R, this TGIF lip liner from Makeup Revolution. And honestly, I've used this quite a lot, and I've had very steady progress on this. That's actually all I have left. But the problem with this product now is the actual pencil at the top, there's like a hole inside of it, which means the rest of the product around it sort of starts crumbling, which is not an ideal situation. But it is what it is. There's nothing really I can do about that. And I think one of the reasons for that is because this product is genuinely so old that it's doing that. But that being said, I have actually made some good progress to show you guys. So where is it? Here's where we are. So that's where I was originally. And as you can see, each update there's sort of like decent progress, and it's fairly steady as well, surprisingly, which is really nice. And I know that my lines are not straight, but it's still a good indication that I have actually used this product up, which is really, really good. I am hoping I can actually have this done by the end of the year. I think that would be very nice to see, and because this is one of my oldest lip planners, I think that would be a very good achievement for me. But again, it's one of those things where like I feel like I definitely like need to get my head sorted so I can actually like enjoy doing makeup again. But I do know in the autumn times I'll probably gravitate toward this a lot more. So probably by like September, October, I'll be using this a lot more, and then by the end of October, hopefully have this used up. But I could also be eating my words by the time it comes around to October, November. We'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. But I'm just happy to see that there's still steady progress with this product. The next product is another lip liner, but this time this is the Colourpop lip liner in the shade Minute Man. This is another nice product. I do actually like this, and I do really love the formula of Colourpop products. I got like a set of like, I don't know, 10 or 15 or something like that. Some of them dried out, so I had to get rid of them. I do have some. I think I've used up maybe 1 last year of these, and I'm trying to use up 2 this year. So I have like somewhat steady use on this one too. This is like a more of a pinkier tone product, and I do like it, but I'm trying to grab more like cool toned products. But I will also show you the progress on there. So that's where I was originally. As you can see, like there was slow progress, but then after that there's been like fairly consistent progress, which is what I really love about this too. This is another go-to sort of lip liner for me, and a lot of the time this works really well with the lipstick that I have on today technically. But also sometimes I might use this when I'm using this product, but also use this when I'm using other lipsticks as well, and it works really well, and I use that combination all the time. But it's also one of those products that, because I'm trying to use so many different lip liners, it's like trying to figure out what lip liner I can match with the eyeshadow that I've done for the day, which is the only issue that I'm technically having. So I might have to just pump the brakes when it comes to using the different eyeshadow palettes, and just maybe focus on using the products I have in the project pan and seeing how that goes. But I don't know if my brain will allow me to do that, but we shall see. We'll see. We never know what September holds or what the rest of August holds. So I guess that'll be an update with future me. And then the last product is for the letter W, and this is the Colourpop Wildcats blush. This is the collab that they did with High School Musical, and I'm not gonna lie, I love this. It's a very like neutrally sort of like slightly peachy blush, and it works really well with a lot of looks that I do and I tend to do, and I've actually used this quite a lot. I do have to use this a little bit more than other sort of products. That the usage is a lot more compared to the amount of numbers that I have. Since last update I've used this twice. That takes my total up to 13 out of 25, which isn't that bad, and I do feel like I can more easily hit my goal on this product than some of the others in this project pan, which is still fine. But it's one of those products, because I've got 2 blushes in here, it's like, okay, which blush do I use? But this one does tend to work a lot more easily and better with the products that I currently have in rotation in terms of eyeshadows and all that sort of stuff. So I do tend to gravitate towards this one compared to the other one, and the formula of this is pretty decent as well. I can't lie and I cannot complain. I tend to gravitate towards this one more, but it's another one of those products that I do need to use maybe a little bit more. And then if I maybe just do my makeup like a few more days each month, I can definitely hit the goal for this too. Okay, so that was the update for the Beauty Aesthetic project plan for this month. There really hasn't been that great progress with this project, but I have a feeling I might do this again next year, and whatever I don't use, I'm just going to roll it in for the next year. We will see, and it probably will be a case where most of these products roll over, but you know what, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. There has been some decent progress that I'm happy with. Some things I'm not so happy with, some products I just haven't used at all in a long time, and it would be very good if I was to pick up usage on those said products, because there are some very neglected products that I have in here, and there are things that I've literally just had one use since I've rolled it into the project pan, and I've not touched it since. What am I thinking? I don't really know. But yeah, hopefully the next update, I mean, I say this all the time, but hopefully next update I can have something that's a little bit more exciting to show you guys. But we'll say I'm so glad that I figured out that the one product is expired, and it's just one less product to have to like worry about when it comes to this sort of project pan. But hopefully, that being said, hopefully I can still get some more usage for next month with some of the other products, and maybe have some of the things like this blush and some of the lip liners like these two closer to being done with, because that'd be really nice. But that is literally everything for this update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, again, please make sure you like and subscribe, and check me out on all my other social medias. Everything is always linked down below in my description. But thank you so much for stopping by. See you later.